Nag-ji is a type of seafood often used in Korean cooking. It became especially well known from a scene in the famous Korean film Old Boy, where the main character eats a live small octopus. It is a kind of octopus commonly found in the waters around Korea, Japan, and China. Compared to the octopus you're more familiar with, nag-ji is smaller and has longer legs. You'll find many dishes made with nag-ji on Korean restaurant menus. If we write the name nag-ji using the English alphabet, it might look like this. We've already studied the other Hangeul letters needed to write this word in our previous lessons. Now we're going to learn the Hangeul letter that represents the first sound of this word, the N sound in English. The N sound is written like this in Hangeul. The tongue touches slightly farther back on the roof of the mouth compared to the English N, but the difference is very small. To practice this Hangeul letter and its sound more, let's read it out loud together with different vowels. Na, na, no, no, ni, ni, no, no, nu, nu, ne, ne. In Korean, noodle dishes usually end with either myeon or guksu in their names. That's because myeon and guksu both mean noodles. So if you spot the words myeon or guksu on a Korean menu, you'll know it's a noodle dish. Some noodle dishes are mixed with sauce, like Western-style spaghetti, while others are served in broth, so you can enjoy the noodles with the soup. The final consonant in myeon is this Korean letter which we just learned. When this letter is used at the end of a syllable, it sounds just like the English letter N at the end of a syllable. When N is the final sound in English, the tip of your tongue touches just behind the upper gums. At the same time, the sound vibrates in your nose.
Gun, pen,
This Korean letter works the same way when it's at the end of a syllable. It sounds very similar to N, though it may be a little softer or less strong. 면, 전. Although it's not a traditional Korean dish, ramyeon is probably the most famous noodle dish in Korea. When you want a quick and simple meal at home, this instant food is very convenient and also quite tasty. But Koreans often order ramyeon at restaurants too. That's because ramyeon served at a restaurant has a different flavor compared to the one made at home. It's probably because restaurants cook ramyeon with stronger heat and a wider variety of ingredients. Also, ramyeon goes really well with other popular dishes like kimbap, tteokbokki, or fried rice, and that's another reason people enjoy eating it at restaurants. The first sound in the word ramyeon is written like this. It may seem similar to the English L or R, but if you listen carefully to how Koreans pronounce it, you'll notice a clear difference. This Korean consonant is pronounced with the tongue in almost the same position as the English L. In English, the L sound is made by pressing the tip of the tongue against the ridge, where the gums meet the roof of the mouth.
Lock, loud, like.
In Korean, the tongue touches slightly farther back, and only for a very short moment, then it quickly drops away. The sound is lighter and quicker than the English L. Ra, ra, ramyeon, ramyeon, ra, ra, ro, ro, 리, 리, 로, 로, 루, 루, 르, 르. When this letter is used at the end of a syllable, it sounds similar to the English L in the same position. However, as we mentioned earlier, the tongue touches slightly behind the spot where the English L is pronounced, which is right at the edge of the upper gums and the roof of the mouth. Let's take an example from the side dishes you often see on the table when you order food at a Korean restaurant. There are side dishes made by boiling vegetables or wild greens and then seasoning or stir-frying them. This kind of food is called namu. The final syllable of the word namu ends with the letter we just learned. Listen to the pronunciation again. 나물, 나물. Just like how the English L at the end of a syllable is pronounced with the tongue staying in contact, not snapping off.
Meal. Goal.
This Korean letter also stays in contact when it's used at the end of a syllable. The tongue touches the same spot as it does in the initial position, but the sound is made without lifting the tongue. 나물, 물. When a syllable contains only a vowel in Korean writing, we add a special letter to show that there is no consonant at the beginning. I explained this rule in an earlier lesson, but when this letter is used at the end of a syllable, it does make a sound. That sound is the same as the ng sound at the end of English words like sing or long. In Korean food, some dishes use meat that is marinated and grilled, and others use meat that is mixed with or covered in sauce. The Korean word for seasoning or sauce is yang-nyeom. That's why you often see this word on Korean restaurant menus. The first syllable of this word begins with the vowel ya, without a consonant sound. So we use that special letter to show that there is no consonant. However, the end of that first syllable has the same final sound as the ng in English. To write this in Hangeul, we use the same letter that appears at the beginning of the syllable. yang, yang, yang-nyeom, yang-nyeom. We'll continue practicing the consonants from the last two videos and this one by reading words like food names and cooking methods commonly found on Korean restaurant menus. To help you practice reading and writing on your own, I've added a link in the description where you can download the worksheet. Practice on your own to become more familiar with Hangeul. nag-ji, nag-ji. 전, 전. 라면, 라면. 나물, 나물. 마늘, 마늘. 삼겹살, 삼겹살. 양념, 양념. 간장, 간장. 생선, 생선.